So the Jacksonville Jaguars are currently working on a contract extension with their quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. Now, this is kind of a big, glooming issue with the Jaguars, and it's finally arrived. Unfortunately, Trevor Lawrence hasn't really lived up to expectations so far. Being the number one overall draft pick and coming from that brutal quarterback class that includes Mac Jones, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, and of course Justin Fields. Not a great quarterback class at all, and being the number one guy out of that class, he really hasn't lived up to expectations. They had that one good year when they made the playoffs in 2022. He had 25 TDs and only 8 picks. He earned a Pro Bowl berth. The Jaguars obviously came back to beat the Chargers. When they came back to beat the Chargers in that epic Brandon Staley collapse, they actually almost beat the Chiefs too. Patty Mahomes went down. They had an opportunity, but they came up a bit short. And I thought going into the 2023 year, they'd be a lot better. I was really, really, really high on the Jags. I feel like a lot of people were. You got Doug Peterson. You added Calvin Ridley. Trevor Lawrence, his third year. And man, 2 out of his 3 years in the NFL, he just has not looked good. I know his rookie year, he had Urban Meyer. And, Urban Meyer, we could talk about that for an hour, but just to summarize, awful guy, awful coach. So his rookie year was kind of sabotaged. So I guess you can kind of not really count it. But last year, man, he just didn't look great. And he was injured a lot. He had 21 TDs with 14 picks. The Jags went 9-8. They started off pretty well, and then they just collapsed. And I know Trevor Lawrence only missed one game officially last year, but he was dealing with a few injuries that maybe were kind of holding him back from being the best version of himself. But the eye test does not lie. The tape does not lie. He did not look sharp at all last year. He just doesn't really look like a number one overall draft pick. I don't know. I just think his 4th year in the NFL, this is a huge year. To me, he's got to prove it this year. He's got to show significant growth and to show that he's a legit top 10, top 12 guy. Honestly, top 15 isn't good enough. It's not good enough. You were drafted number 1 overall. You should be a top 12 guy at least. So I really think this is a huge year for the future of the Jags, because honestly, if he's bad this year, if he's not good at all, or if he has another average year like last year, why would you give him a ton of money? Why? It's just... Not only that, but right now Jared Goff is also in contract talks with the Lions to get an extension. I have a question to all of you listening right now. Who would you rather have as your quarterback? Jared Goff or Trevor Lawrence? Anyone who tells me they would rather Trevor Lawrence is straight up lying to me. You're lying to me, you're lying to yourself. Come on, man. And don't give me the excuse of, the Lions have more weapons. No, the Jags have a lot of weapons too. They have ETN. They have Evan Ingram. They had Ridley. They had Kirk. They have Gabe Davis this year. They have tools on offense. I would not pay Trevor Lawrence if I'm the Jaguars. I ride it out. Seriously. I ride it out this year, because if he's bad, man, if he has another bad year, maybe part ways, honestly. He's just not worth it so far. It sucks, but he's not worth it so far. That's just the reality of the situation. So, Jags fans, am I wrong? Is he actually worth it? I'm curious to hear your opinions because I don't know how you could pay him. I don't know how you could pay Tua right now. Both of those contracts would be huge mistakes. And yes, who knows? Trevor Lawrence could light it up this year. He could go off, and that's a huge possibility. But like I said, 3 years in the NFL, he's only had one good year. So I guess we'll find out soon enough. If he does get a contract from the Jags, it would be something similar to a Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, and they're getting paid around the $50 million a year. Like, come on. Is Trevor Lawrence worth $50 million a year? Come on. Like, how can anyone tell me he's worth that? And that's the thing. I don't know if Trevor Lawrence is a great leader as well. I don't know if he's mentally tough. I don't know if he's like a dog like that. I'm sure he is to a certain extent. That's why he's in the league. That's why he dominated in Clemson and in high school, and he only lost like one time throughout his career before going into the NFL. But everyone wants their bag. Everyone wants their future and their families to be secured. So there's potential that this could be a distraction. And, I don't think Trevor Lawrence needs any more distractions. I think he needs to be locked in, focused, because, man, again, I was so high on the Jags going into 2023, and they really dropped the ball. I love Doug Peterson. I love his gutsiness. I love it. I want Trevor Lawrence to do well, man, but you can't pay him, man. You just can't. You got to let him play out his contract at least for one more year, see what happens. So, let me know. Am I dead wrong about this take? Would you pay Trevor Lawrence? Is he worth $50 million a year? Is he? I would pay Jared Goff. Maybe not $50 million, but I'd be comfortable around like high 40s to maybe 50 a year. I just believe in him. I trust him. Can you say the same thing about Trevor Lawrence? Do you trust him? Do you believe in him? Well, I guess we'll find out soon enough. Let me know what y'all think. That's all I got for right now. Peace.
Touchdown, Phil, halfway through the fourth quarter, may have been the one that locked it up. Jim, it's been a wonderful day by the offense, and on the other side, the defense, oh my gosh, I don't know what to say.